Welcome back to JB Reviews. I have the 2024 Ford F450 regular cab dually. I did a walk around on this truck and at the time it was sold. Currently right now it is available. Let's go ahead and hop in, take it down the road. We're going to do some performance tests and we're going to see how this shorter wheelbase F450 rides with these 19.5-inch wheels and stiffer suspension. The very first thing we're going to do is obviously see how good the turning radius is. You guys can see my camera here, kind of cool. We're going to do it from that point of view so you guys can see. So this being a shorter wheelbase, this is going to be a piece of cake with this truck. Oh, let me put my seatbelt on. I'm sure you guys don't want to listen to that. All right, here we go. This is why you get an F450. Right there. That is amazing. That is the tightest turning radius in the business. That's why you get this truck, guys. Wow. I can do that all day long, but then I'm starting to get dizzy. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to go ahead and reset the fuel economy right up here. I'm taking a small risk putting my camera out back because these tailgates are so over designed. There's no spot really for like suction cups. So let's go ahead and reset the trip 1 right here. So you gotta do is just hold it. You hold the OK and there you go. Now at low speeds, no matter what truck you get, they all drive crappy. So I'm not even gonna talk about the city. So yes, it's stiff in the city, I can already tell you right now. But on the highways where it does kind of lighten up, now we've talked about this many times before, whenever you put a load behind these trucks, you know, 2,000-3,000 pounds of payload, I would say, hitch weight, you know, anything you put in the bed, that really does soften up the ride for sure. But I'm just giving it about 30% throttle right now. Showing we're like in 9th gear. I mean, these trucks have so much power now that, you know, they can almost get you up to speed in like 10th gear. I'm gonna give it like 50%. Oh yeah, it dropped down to 9th gear. Yeah, this truck rides and handles like a truck. It does. It's really stiff, I'll be honest. Like, having a shorter wheelbase does not help it either. And then, of course, riding on these 19.5-inch wheels and commercial tires, it doesn't do any more justice for it either. So, all in all, if you're using this as a daily driver, it's going to be stiff for you. I can just tell you right now, it's going to be stiff. When you hit bumps like in this bridge right here, it just shakes the whole truck, right? And that's what you're going to expect. I mean, it's a big, burly truck. I can see my like camera out there. It's just bouncing around because of how stiff the ride is. But it's not bad though. I think that if you drive a sports car, right, and you probably did some stuff to the suspension, it probably rides better than that. If it's aftermarket suspension on the sports car, it's way better than that. Like, I feel like it's more tuned, it's more dialed in. And when you're on the highway cruising at 65 miles an hour, you know, you can't really tell that you're driving a dually until you hit a bump in the road like I just did just now. But yeah, for the most part, I think that this truck rides no different from a crew cab, honestly. Like, I almost think it rides sportier. Like, I use that a lot, and a lot of people get mad at me when I say that. Like, why do you say a truck rides sporty? And it's because of the stiffness. Like, sports cars have really good dampening, so when they hit a bump or something like that in the road, like, it dampens, like, and it like tightens up, and it kind of stops the bounce, right, to keep it in control. And that's kind of what this truck does too. Like, it has a stiffer suspension, so it really compensates for the bumps in the road for you, right? And of course, if you need to tow something heavy, it's going to carry that load perfectly for you. But yeah, the steering feel in this truck is nice and secure. I mean, having the regular cab, the visibility is amazing. I mean, I think that's the biggest benefit right here, is having to look back. I mean, if you need to hook up a gooseneck trailer or anything like that, Oh my goodness, it's so easy. So easy. The brakes feel pretty good in here too, by the way. I like the brake feel for sure. And when you have to accelerate, yeah, this truck has so much power. I did a wide open throttle. Now granted, I'm doing 75 and it only dropped down to 9th gear. Let's go ahead and switch cameras. I want to show you guys the RPMs here. At 65 miles an hour, you guys see we're just under 2,000 RPMs. So the sweet spot with these types of trucks is obviously 65 or less. If you're trying to go 75, 80 miles an hour, and that's how you drive on the highway a lot, this truck is not going to be your friend in terms of fuel economy, for sure, right? But apart from that, I mean, I feel as though that's really nice. Let me get up to 75. Now I want to see, now I'm like interested. About 34% throttle, it's still in 10th gear, so much power. So at 75, we're in 10th gear, as you guys can see, and we're like at like 2200 RPMs. That is pretty darn good, guys. That is pretty good for a 430 rear end. I mean, wow. I mean, first, second, and third gear, like I think the first gear is like a 4.6 something. So you have deep gears, and yeah, I mean, it has so much power, it doesn't need to downshift the 7th and 6th gears. Like it can get it done in that 9th and 10th gear at these higher speeds. Here's your wheel and tire setup. These are the Continentals. And these are the HDR 5s. You guys see low range G, 225, 70, 19.5. And you guys see the capacity for dual and single. So 3970 for single and then 3750 for dual. 110 PSI max. On the door it says 90 up front, 80 out back. You guys see the payload, and then here are the other numbers. We're at the midpoint. I'm going to pull off my camera off the back. So I'm just going to stop right here. I'm going to turn the truck off too for a second, and we'll turn it back on. But I just want to pull my camera off. But we're at 16.2. But when I start back up here, we're going to do the 0 to 60. So we're going to really hurt that because obviously hard acceleration. So here it is. This is the 500 horsepower, 1,200 pound-feet of torque, 6.7 liter power stroke. This engine is a beast. It has lower compression than the standard output and still made it to a 10-speed 10R140 transmission. Let's see how it accelerates. Here we go.
30, 60,
no surprise there, it did 60 in less than 8.5 seconds. That is pretty darn good. We're probably about 4,700 feet above elevation too. Or elevation, I should say, not above elevation. Above sea level, I mean. But yeah, this truck is really brutal. Like when you launch it, that's a lot of power. Like 500 horsepower, 1,200 pound-feet of torque going through a 430 rear, 10-speed transmission. It's just a lot of torque. It just really shakes the truck. It's brutal. It almost feels cringy almost. It's just, yeah. I mean, thankfully it's on this type of chassis, obviously, so it's an overbuilt truck, but you really feel that force when you accelerate. I think I lost my, oh, here it is. I was going to show you guys the sound level inside the interior here. It's definitely loud because of the regular cab too. Yeah, 65. 72. I don't think I've ever had a 72 on the side here. I don't have to go out back. I mean, if you want, I mean, here. It's worse. 74. Wow. It is so loud inside the interior. It's loud. So yeah, you know, this is a real truck. I mean, this is what real men drive, right? That's what they will say online. Like, real man gets a regular cab dually. You can tow anything with this bad boy. But it's loud in here. If you turn on the music, it'll help, but make no mistake about it, it's loud in here. We've been driving for about 15 minutes now, and you guys can see the coolant's at 187. It's kind of fluctuating between that and 189. Transmission's at 203, and then the engine oil temp's at 201. Now just cruising on the highway, you guys see the turbo boost? I'm probably only giving it like 10% throttle, if that. And we're kind of fluctuating between 6 and 10 PSI. So that's pretty low actually. So you're gonna get better fuel economy the lower that number is, obviously. And then here's some of your diesel readouts there. But the transmission on Fords, we've kind of discovered that a while ago. They run warm. 203 degrees seems pretty accessible. Now that was after the 0 to 60 that was done about 3 minutes ago, but for the most part, I mean, it's at 205 now, and that's not towing. Now, I do know that based off of what some people have told me, it doesn't change much between this and towing about 10,000–15,000 pounds, so that's refreshing. But Ram and GM run about 140, 150 unloaded, and towing, I think, about 160-ish. So that's a big difference, and obviously heat is always an enemy of lube, right? So oil, you know, any of that stuff, transmission fluid, all that stuff is going to deteriorate with a hotter temperature, right? So I don't know, it's all on how you look at it. You guys see the exhaust brake? Oh wow, it just went away. The consistency is not there, but it does come on every time you're driving, right? Like whenever you take your foot off the gas, it's there, but it's just not strong. Like sometimes it's strong, sometimes it's not. And it's probably because you don't have a trailer. I'll make an excuse for the Ford. It doesn't have a trailer, so that's why it's not as strong. If you're driving a Ram truck, it would be working every time. And that's what I love about the 6-speed. And I'm pretty sure, as you guys know, Ram's probably not going to a 10-speed like GM and Ford, so that's going to really benefit them too. So I can't wait to see what they do. But the exhaust brake is better than 2022 and earlier pickups for sure. But we are pretty much back. Let me show you guys where we ended off at. So here we are. We drove 15 miles even, 16.4 MPG, which is not bad with 0 to, I think we did up to 0 to 80, I think. Not bad. Here's something you guys haven't told me to do in a while, so here it is. So that's 104 degrees. About 78 degrees right there. The rear brakes aren't warm at all, they're like 82 degrees. But yeah, that diff cover, 102 degrees, 101 degrees, kind of fluctuating. This is like your EGR. So 245 degrees right there. And the turbo is pretty deep down in there, but yeah, it's pretty warm in there for sure. Your radiator. Huh, let's see if we can do the transmission. Here's the transmission. So about 170 degrees right there. It's like a reservoir, right, for fluid. 148 degrees, and here's the pan right there. Oil pan's about 152 degrees. 163, kind of going up a little bit, fluctuating. Not bad. So if you didn't know, now you know. This truck definitely performed extremely well. I'm really impressed by Ford. I think that they have really built one of the best HD trucks on the market that they dubbed the Super Duty. But yeah, the power delivery, the ride for what it is. I mean, with the shorter wheelbase, I expect a truck like this to ride horrible. But it didn't ride that bad. I would definitely drive this as a daily for sure. Now again, I've said in the past, I am not a good judgment of that because I don't mind a harsher riding ride because I've just kind of done that all my life on cars. But I don't like a cushy ride either. So for me, I think this ride's good enough. And if you plan on towing a lot, you won't even notice this truck was a dually. But I hope you guys liked the video. Now, in the comment section, did you guys like the temperature thing? I did it a few times and no one ever mentioned anything in the comments about it. But if you like some of the stuff I do in my videos, you need to say it, because sometimes I'm thinking that no one cares about it, so I don't do it anymore. So make sure you mention things in the comment section, so that way I know if people actually are receiving the things I do, because a lot of this stuff is a lot of work. So keep that in mind. So if you like the camera reviews, if you like anything that I do in my videos, make sure you talk about it in the comment section. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel too. See you guys soon.